to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's dream.
Today Around Kansas starts with the history of the Smoky Hills and how they were formed long ago. Next, learn how fourth graders QR codes for an Historic Lecompton Walking Tour win the prestigious 2016 AASLH Award of Merit. Then enjoy a poem from Ron Wilson, and we'll end with Charles Curtis and his new statue in downtown Topeka. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, just a short drive down the Yellow Brick Road. Well, good morning. It's Wednesday. I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And this is Around Kansas.
And we got the memo. Apparently we're in mourning. Maybe because summer's over.
Yeah,
you know,
this
is like this weekend that marks. I mean, you know, it's not the official
starting into fall colors.
Right.
Here.
So it's not like the end of the season on the calendar, but with Labor Day coming up, that's sort of the unofficial end of summer and beginning of fall. Kids are back in school and all that good stuff. So the last fling of the summer, that's this weekend.
Wait till Halloween.
Honey, the stuff is already in the stores.
I know. Yeah, it is.
It's crazy. You know, the kids were looking at
Christmas music playing in the background.
with the Nightmare Before Christmas. It has begun. It has begun. And speaking of this weekend, last fling, Eskridge Rodeo. Mm-hmm. We had a segment on that last week, so be sure you get out to Eskridge. Beautiful time to enjoy the Flint Hills and beautiful little town of Eskridge, and the rodeo is always a good time. It means a lot to these communities too, you know, these events throughout the year. You're supporting not only the folks that are putting on the rodeo, for example, in Eskridge, but the town itself. And so it means a lot to bring a few dollars into the communities and stop and have a bite to eat, and look around, have a good time.
Yeah, and then drive out of Eskridge and up through the Flint Hills. It's a beautiful, especially this time of the year, because the trees are beginning to change and the grass, and it's something.
They're getting a little tinge of yellow, and the sumac's getting a little tinge of red.
And look out, because there are a lot of motorcycles that also like to go that route. So
there sure are.
You know, look around, but also look out.
Okay, got to give a shout out also to our friends, Kirk Drager, the Blue Moon String Band, Beneath the Starry Sky, brand new CD, and you folks are all going to be familiar. Our friend Callie Crowman not only did the artwork, but she wrote the lyrics for these songs, and Kirk, the very talented Kirk Drager, did the music. And in the Blue Moon String Band, we have Jim Campbell, Kirk Drager, Rod Durst, our banjo picking buddy, and Diane Gillenwater, who is an amazing fiddler and teacher and just an all-around amazing person.
And 12-string guitarist.
She's amazing, just amazing. She can do anything. What a talented group of folks. We have so much talent here.
Yes.
We sure do. So we got a great show coming up for you today. We're going to talk about the landscape. We're going to talk about some very talented and award-winning people. Sometimes talented folks get awards, don't they, Frank?
Yeah, once in a while.
Every now and then. We haven't gotten one lately. We need an award. Yeah, we need a major award, Frank.
Yes, we do. Well, we could get an Emmy for very early show in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. It's got to be a new category.
You know, start writing in. You know, when do they give the Emmys? The fall?
I think so.
Yeah.
You know, during all of the award shows now.
Right. So, yeah, think about that, folks.
And we can think of the stars that we can come and, you know, introduce. It'd be cool.
It would be so
We're going to
cool.
start it.
Get our own red carpet.
Yeah.
All right.
Very, very early in the morning Emmy show is coming soon, I think.
I'm so excited. We'll be right back.
Lecompton. The name was splashed across newspapers throughout America and Europe. It was debated in the halls of Congress. Lecompton interprets its unique territorial history with 2 museums and other sites. Events throughout the year celebrate history and community.
Experience the life of the mountain man, American Indian, trappers, and traders at the annual Bald Eagle Rendezvous, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th.
Spend the day in historic Lecompton, shopping, eating, savoring the rich history.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Support Kansas agriculture education with an AgriTag. AgriTags are available anytime at your county treasurer. They look great on cars and trucks. For more information, go online to ksagclassroom.org.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life. We're back. We need to straighten up because we have to introduce some really good shows, really good stories on the show. Here we
That's
go
as
again.
straight as we get. All right.
Yeah.
So, well, we were talking a couple of weeks ago about the fact, that when I mentioned that I had moved out to Oakley and, on the high plains, this one lady said, "Oh, I love the Flint Hills." And while the Flint Hills are lovely, that's not all of Kansas, and it's not all the hills in Kansas. And the Smoky Hills is really quite extensive. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And then I think next week we hope to do the Chautauqua Hills. We did the Gyp Hills last week. We got some amazing hills in Kansas. We do. And I got to tell you, Dr. Jake has this amazing app on his phone, and I don't know what this app is, but it's a barometer and an altimeter. So as we're driving along on the road, I'm like, give me your phone and I'll check the altitude and see how, big it is. Did I do a promo for this already? They should send me royalties. Not only do we deserve an Emmy, we deserve royalties for all the people that we're pitching here on the show.
We have no shame, none.
None, zero. So yeah, if you buy one of those, you let me know so I can write the company. But that is the coolest app. And when you're going all over the state and you're looking at the change in altitude, flat Kansas, nope, it's not. It's not.
No. I know you're going to do Smoky Hills.
Smoky Hills.
And as an historian, surely in that story you have why they're called the Smoky Hills.
I sure hope so.
I guess we're going to find out.
I guess we'll find out. Let's take a look and see. Deeper seas than those of the Gypsum Hills formed the Cretaceous Age outcroppings of rock that characterize the Smoky Hills of north central Kansas. According to the Kansas Geological Survey, 3 principal rock outcrops characterize the Smoky Hills: the sandstones of the Dakota Formation, the limestones of the Greenhorn Limestone Formation, and the thick chalks of Niobrara Chalk. The Dakota Formation sandstones crop out in a wide belt from Rice and McPherson counties in the south to Washington County in the north. They are the remains of beach sands and sediments dumped by rivers draining into the early Cretaceous seas. The hills and buttes, like Coronado Heights, are capped by this sandstone. The next outcrop belt to the west is the Greenhorn Limestone, which is made up of thin, chalky limestone beds alternating with thicker beds of shale. The Greenhorn Limestone was deposited in a relatively shallow part of the Cretaceous Sea. Near the top of the Greenhorn is fence post limestone, used for building and fences due to the lack of wood. The westernmost range of hills developed on the thick chalks of the Niobrara Chalk. These beds were deposited in a deeper part of the Cretaceous Ocean and are exposed in bluffs of the Solomon, Saline, and Smoky Hill rivers. Pinnacles, spires, and odd-shaped masses, such as Castle Rock and Monument Rock in Gove County, are characteristic of those formations. It is in these outcroppings that the fossils of swimming reptiles like mosasaurs and plesiosaurs have been found. The The Smoky Hills are extensive, and there are several places to visit to learn more. In addition to the museums like the Sternberg and Hayes or the Fick Fossil Museum in Oakley, the Fort Wallace Museum, the Russell Springs Museum, El Cuartalejo in Scott City, and Ottawa County Museum in Minneapolis offer fossils and related exhibits. To observe the landscape itself, besides Castle and Monument Rocks, there's Rock City, Mushroom Rock State Park, Canopolis State Park, and the scenic byways that crisscross the area.
Buffalo Bill Cody earned his legendary title in Oakley. Bring the family and come celebrate Oakley's pioneering history and unique geography at two sites, the Buffalo Bill Cultural Center and the Fick Fossil Museum. Cody's statue marks his achievements and welcomes visitors to the Cultural Center. The Fick Fossil Museum houses world-class fossils and artifacts. You'll find Oakley at the hub of U.S. Highways 83 and 40 and I-70. Stop for the legend. Stay for the day. Discover Oakley.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. So, you gonna say we're back or what?
We're back.
We're back.
We're back. And we want to give a shout out today to Lecompton. Historic Lecompton, of course, is one of our sponsors. And there's always something great going on in Lecompton. And we really appreciate their supporting our show. And if you'd like to support our show too, you can just get in touch with us and or go to our website, find us on Facebook, whatever. Just let us know. We'd love to have you here too. There's one of our fans now. Yes, Ross Freeman.
We have an audience.
The proprietor of this establishment. See.
Yeah.
A few more like him, the Emmy would be ours, Frank.
Yeah.
It would be
That's
ours.
it. Yes.
So,
anyway,
back to people who really won an award.
Yeah. Well, Lecompton not only is historic, but they're along the river, and it is a recreational area, and that's where bald eagles also nest. So it's something else to go and see over in Lecompton.
There's so much, and now that they've got the restaurant open and the shops, and it's just. We cannot say enough good about Lecompton.
Yeah, the thing is, though, is I know I'm strange, but times that I go to visit Lecompton, I kind of look around and say, this could have been the capital of Kansas. And then you think, okay, so it's a very small town now, but what if the capital were over there? And I don't know. It's just my little strange mind that goes, I can't imagine, had this become the capital, what it would look like.
Yeah. And it almost was the capital.
Yes.
We are so proud of the folks in Lecompton. Let's take a look at what they've done.
The American Association for State and Local History has announced that Sandy Gantz, fourth grade teacher in the Perry-Lecompton School District, along with her school colleagues and Lecompton's museums, are the recipients of the prestigious Award of Merit for fourth graders' QR codes for Historic Lecompton Walking Tour. Sandy received a grant from Thrivent Life Insurance Company and contacted Constitution Hall, operated by Kansas Historical Society, and the Territorial Capitol Museum, operated by the Lecompton Historical Society. At the beginning of the project, school buses took the students on a tour of the town with museum staff and volunteers providing the narration. The students explored and photographed the sites. 15 volunteers from the community were gathered to go to the school once a week for 6 weeks to help the kids do research on the 15 different sites to be included on the walking tour. The students with their community volunteers researched by interviewing locals, searching period newspapers, and reading articles. The students produced a 1 to 3 minute video on the history of their assigned site. They also designed artwork in the shape of quilt blocks to identify their site and put a QR code at each site so that visitors to the town could easily access the videos with their smartphones. The walking tour with a map and scavenger hunt was printed and distributed to local businesses. The grant Sandy received paid for the QR code signs and map printing. The project debuted in 2015 during Territorial Days, the town's yearly June celebration, when residents and visitors come to Lecompton for a parade, reenactments, festivities, and food. This year, the only award presented in Kansas was to our Lecompton project. Presentation of the awards will be made in Detroit, Michigan this September. Receiving the award for Lecompton will be Reverend Bob Doolin and his wife Arutha of Detroit. Reverend Doolin is a life member of the Lecompton Historical Society and a 1959 graduate of Lecompton High School. Brought to you in part by the 64th Annual Eskridge Labor Day Rodeo, September 3rd and 4th. Fort Wallace stood on the frontier in the midst of the Plains Indians Wars on a major stage route and rail line. Beside the 1865 stagecoach station, a modern museum with thousands of artifacts tell that story, like the fossil of a 40-foot plesiosaur is suspended from the ceiling. Located on Highway 40 midway between Hayes and Colorado Springs, the Fort Wallace Museum is as welcome a sight today as the fort itself in the 1860s. Discover the fightingest sport in the West. If you love rodeo, mark your calendar right now for the 64th Annual Labor Day Rodeo in Eskridge on September 3rd and 4th at 7 p.m. This is entertainment for your whole family. Calf roping, steer mugging, barrel racing, and more. Now, let's rodeo.
I had this horse. It was a good horse, except when the wind was blowing above 30 miles an hour. Wind was blowing about 35, 40, and I saddled him up, rode him out to the end of the lane, and I thought, well, he's doing pretty good. And about 6 jumps later, I was laying on the ground and thinking, boy, my shoulders sure hurt. I kept waiting, and it didn't get better, and so I went to orthopedic surgeon, and that showed that I had torn rotator cuff. And said, well, we'll have to do surgery. I thought, I farm and ranch by myself. This is not going to work out very well. I'd been sleeping in my recliner for about 2.5 years because it hurt too much to sleep in bed on my side. And I'd heard about Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center on the radio and got down there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 11:30 the procedure was all over. They just took some fat out of my side here and spun that down for about 45 minutes and then injected it in my shoulders, and I was on my way. It's something you don't hear about, but I thought it was worth a try, and I'm really pleased. It's really worked out well for me.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Find out more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Another landmark of the Flint Hills are the deep ravines, the deep draws, and the stone, which might look simple to a bureaucrat sitting at a desk, but when it comes time to build fences, you need to call on somebody special. This poem is entitled Uphill and Down, a tribute to the fencing man. The government man sits at a desk and draws a simple line and says, here where the property ends, a fence here would be fine. But what seems so simple in the government domain doesn't match the real world of the natural terrain. For when we need a fence built across this rugged land, we need a hard-working expert. We need the fencing man. Yes, the fencing man is he who suffers the consequence when the Flint Hills are the place that's required to build a fence. By contrast, in the flatlands, building fence can be a breeze, but out here in the Flint Hills, we can't build a fence with ease. When that line cuts across the steepest of these hills, it creates a major challenge which the fencing man fulfills. It's one thing to build fence where the land is flat and level, but it's different on these hillsides with a 60-degree bevel. It's a place where a pickup truck or four-wheeler can't squeeze, so he drags a chainsaw out by hand to cut the brush and trees. Seems it's the most inaccessible place we need the fences most, so he's hiking up a side hill with a driver and T-posts. Then he's sliding down the draw where the sides are very steep and the ground is too darn rocky to drive the posts in very deep. So while the government man draws a line across the aerial maps, the fencing man is on the ground with barbed wire and water gaps. It looks easy sitting in a room drawing up a man-made plan, but it ain't easy in the Flint Hills, so we salute the fencing man. Happy trails.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter. Oh, I think we're rolling. Hello again. We just have too good a time on this show. We hope you do too. Hey, I saw you in a picture with Charles Curtis. How'd that happen?
Honey, I get around. I know all the cool people. You know, important people. I know them all.
Yeah.
Me and Charlie, we're like that.
Yeah, he looked a little green, but other than that.
Well, bronze does that to you. Just look at your baby boots. When they put those in bronze, they turn a little green too. But, Charles Curtis, the latest statue to be dedicated on Kansas Avenue. And I was talking with Marcia Oliver, who is on the board of Downtown Topeka. And we were talking about how, this capital city, not just the State House, but this capital city belongs to everybody in Kansas. By golly, your tax dollars are making things happen in this state. Come and see what your capital city looks like today. And of course, speaking of tax dollars, a lot of private funding went into the project on Kansas Avenue. So it's amazing. You're going to love it. It's going to make you proud. And I was so proud to be a part of the dedication of the Charles Curtis statue.
Come see it.
Mayor Larry Walgast commented that of all the statues installed on Kansas Avenue thus far, the only native Topecan is Native American Charles Curtis. Crystal Douglas, representing the Kaw Nation, said, "To us, he is Cousin Charlie." Pat Doran of the Federal Home Loan Bank said, "We wouldn't be here if it weren't for him." We at Ag AM have been involved in producing a documentary on the life of this amazing man. The first segment on his childhood may be viewed on the Kansas Humanities website. In the meantime, visit Charles Curtis on Kansas Avenue, just a couple of blocks from the state office building that bears his name. The Federal Home Loan Bank is placing a bronze plaque next to his statue. It reads, "Born in Topeka, great-grandson of Chief White Plume of the Kaw Nation and first Native American Vice President, a champion of the American farmer, an advocate for women's suffrage, and a standard-bearer for granting citizenship to Native Americans, Charles became a member of the U.S. House of Representatives in 1893 with the 53rd Congress, serving 7 terms. Elected to the U.S. Senate 1907 and serving in that capacity for 20 years, Charles served as Senate Majority Leader before he became Vice President of the United States in 1929. Charles was instrumental in the passage of the Federal Home Loan Bank Act and the establishment of a Federal Home Loan Bank in Topeka. The sculptor, Elizabeth Zeller, in 2015.
We have to go. I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And we'll see you somewhere
Around Kansas.
Welcome to Kansas, gateway to
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy's dream.